So, I get everything up. Let's see. No, I do not want OBS right now. How do I share my screen? There we go. Uh, okay, live. I think we're good. All right. I'm pretty sure I spelled improvement wrong, so that's a great start.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I don't even know how to start it. But yes, basically, I was kind of had this idea after the boot camp, which was must be like 4 weeks ago now. But I was thinking it's pretty nice and all to be giving advice in a best of five, in like a serious best of five set with people, and then give them like really high, like really detailed notes, and they're really good from the stuff that I've seen from both Chris and Froggy. But I did had some issues with how it was ran. So the first point here I wanted to pick out is the limited scope of how bootcamp is currently ran. I'm sorry, this is like starting with me like talking shit. I apologize, but I think one issue that stood out is after I joined, it's basic the scope between us, like me, Froggy, and Chris, is two foxes and a puff, which is super important in Ireland, considering that out of the top three on the PR that we're gonna be having, it's two puffs, one with a fox secondary, and a fox. We also, and that's not even taking in consideration. Chris himself is a fox main. We also are. Lewin is not actively part of the Irish scene, but he will be at Scummit, who is another fox main. So, although it's super important for the top echelon of Irish melee, that's as far as giving detailed notes outside of that, we're really quite limited between a fox, like two really good foxes, and myself, an okay puffman. But um, yeah, like if we want to give like really high detailed notes for Marth, it's a little bit tricky. Like my Marth is okay on a good day. I don't know how well Froggy and Chris's Marths are.
I think Chris Smurf is pretty good actually. That's one of the characters that we could genuinely branch out to is that Vince Smurf is genuinely excellent. Probably the best Smurf in Ireland.
Fair enough.
Certainly by far.
And it has a decent peach as well. Um, but that but we don't really have like we're like not that's not our specialty is what I'm trying to get at with this first point. The second point I wanted to bring up is the prescriptive nature of it. And I guess we like the notes are like I said absolutely excellent, but I have a fear that it would be quite passive for the participant to learn, if that makes sense. It's more like it's very like he's going in, get a checkup, and then away it is, as opposed to be something a bit more active. And I think with the general scope of what I want to really push with these lecture series is more active learning. Um, and as well as that, I think with something like this, it's I also have the fear of the participants being um too overly dependent on us, like me, you, Froggy, and Chris. So we want to build up. We'll talk about what to do in a little bit. Uh, the work burden on the coaches was another thing I wanted to point out because the notes are pretty, at least from what I've seen from, they're really really descriptive, but that's a large amount of work. Um, and that's a large amount of work for like someone only passively learning, if that makes sense. Where we can't guarantee that the person is actively taking on board the advice that is giving. Um, so it's certainly something just to like at least we just want to make sure that the advice that is being given is being going somewhere, to ensure that it's a much more streamlined process, especially once we start like one day that we learn how to do, I don't know, matchup notes. We'll have like all the advice being given is like easily can just be like inserted in like a new computer chip or something like that, and memory stick new like a new like update, and it's like easy in sort of thing, or like easy way to get that practice in. And then this final point is a bit more of a personal thing, because I think one thing I think that works best is if the relationship between the coach and the participant is something closer to a symbiotic relationship as opposed to purely hierarchical. Um, I think that's just my personal, because I think with we have this idea of a hierarchical relationship. It's very easy to be like the teacher knows all the answers when that couldn't be. That's like we're like none of us three are going to know everything. So, um, on the off day, we might give actual bad advice, and we don't want to be in a position where it's just like this bad advice be unchallenged, and just play it on. We want to actually have someone who's actively be like, is this advice good or not? If that makes sense. So, um, yeah, that's the current issues. I think the goals with the lectures, like I said, promote active thinking, learning. We really like the very best of us. I can probably speak for yourself, Froggy, that how we got to where we are is by a lot of thinking with melee, a lot of doing a lot of work outside of playing the game itself.
Yeah, I was taking a lot of ideas when I was getting better. Like you'd watch other foxes, or you'd watch other people talk about the certain matchups, like say Fox Puff or something, and you just pick things up every. If you just like stick around the right people and you watch the right people, you'll like catch little things from people that you'll like note down. Like, oh, I should do this. I'll just like steal this, and oh, I love the way he plays this neutral, and I'll like try and adapt that. Like when I was a lot worse at Fox Puff, that's when I started to really look at how Chris played the matchup and like really adapted how he was doing it without just completely stealing it, because I don't think the way he plays is 100% perfect. I think it could be changed. So it's just about looking at what you're up against, looking at what the other people are doing, and trying and thinking to yourself, how could you adapt that into your gameplay? And I do a lot of VOD review, mostly of the good foxes. Like if I wanted to watch, I don't know, Fox Falcon, I'd watch Leffen versus Gatsu at Evo 2018, where he just completely demolishes him, and I'd look at all the neutral interactions, and I'd just go, right, well, what did he do here that actually like completely beat out anything Gatsu wanted to do? Why did Gatsu do this? Why did it not work out at all? What is the main thing I can take away from these replays? And that's the sort of stuff you want to be thinking about. Like I can sit here all day and look at best of fives and tell you why your decision making was wrong, but it's definitely more proactive and more efficient to just try and nod you in the right direction to make the good decision making in the first place, rather than have you fail and then need to be told what to do.
I think that's pretty beautifully said, to be honest. So thank you, Froggy. Um, and speaking of analyzing sets, I do want at some point to do like I think probably in the next lecture I would like to do is basically a how to analyze. Like how do you go about watching a top level set, um, and how do you get the relevant information from what you're watching, or how do you go about reviewing your own sets? That's probably gonna be like a part two to that sort of thing, and then all the different types of ways of analyzing. I think anyone who has talked to me about anything to do with analyzing knows I love a particular kind of an analysis in regards to preemptive play and counterplay. Um, but that is another. That will be for. I feel like that will be a topic specifically for that, like somewhere in the future. But um, there are different ways of going about analysis as well. So we'll be talking about that next time, I think. Um, say I wanted to say about trying to broaden the scope. As we talked about the best of fives, but I think it would be nice um in the future as well, after an analysis lecture sort of thing of how to do it. It'd be nice to maybe have one of us three basically check in on someone analyzing a set within the Discord. Like not to dictate what's being uh the pace of it, but basically being like a right hand man sort of thing. Basically be like just to give a couple of pointers about if the of how analyzing is being. I was trying to find the right words, but you know what? It's hard to get the
It's just like
right
a
words here.
second opinion about it, and
Yeah.
like it's the sort of thing where like you'll maybe say something about like, oh, I should be doing this better, and then we might give you a solution of on like how best we think you should be able to fix this. Like Fox up throws Fox on the platform, doesn't get the follow up. Oh, I should really try and follow up there better. I would be able to say, okay, well, here's how you do that. You go into combo train and you up for Fox on that platform and you practice 50-50. That sort of thing. Just
Mm-hmm.
given concrete answers for solutions, because that's sometimes is the hardest bit. Like knowledge is hard to get in melee for specific stuff sometimes, but it's all there. Like you can definitely find everything. Like if you play Fox, like entirety of KGH's archive channel like is your greatest guide, or if you play Huff, like all the Alex stuff, the Maxi can link you. Like it's all there for the characters. Like even Bowser has fucking resources. Like so you just gotta go out of your way to find it. And best thing to do would be to talk in discords, especially with people who play your character really well, and ask them, what would you do in the situation? Just like learn from the best.
Mm-hmm. And then the last point is make the working relationship closer to peer. So when I said about having it be a more symbiotic relationship, I'm thinking about something that's both a give and take between both the coach and the participant. Like the best way for both parties is that there is this give and take, that we are collaborating to push to create something beautiful, you know, something beautiful, something like quite magical in terms of improvement, in terms of what is actually what are we capable of with this game, like that we want to be like a we want to be shooting for the stars, essentially. See what actually can be done. That's the beauty of getting good at anything. It's just seeing how far someone can go. So, and for that to happen, I think it's the best way to do it is it's we're collaborators on this project to improve together, as opposed to we tell you what's right, we tell you what's wrong, and you just go away, sort of thing. So I think that covers the goals of it, with what I want to do with this. So I wanted to start it off with kind of an exercise. I should probably get that link here. It's oh, come on, there we go. So this is an exercise that Alex's Puff Stuff came up with about 10 years ago. It's called Your Smash Bible. So Your Smash Bible is basic. So the entire exercise is this: what are the qualities of a top level player? What are the qualities of person? What are the qualities of a person that makes one improve at something? Um, we get a clean notepad. I'm just thinking. Oh, I have my notepad here. I have a. You can't see this because the people who are watching this on YouTube will see my little notepad in front of me. It's not an exhaustive list that I have, but it's just a couple of ramblings from myself of what constitutes someone at the top of their game. And we just create a list of these qualities. Um, and then once we have these qualities written down, we want to break these even further. What is it specifically that we can do to actively practice these qualities? Because so much of this is it is just practice. These are qualities that are not actually that hard to attain. It's just a matter of dedication and just making it into a habit that you do in your daily life. So I kind of actually want to do a little example here, but I want to I don't know. You can see this Google Doc here.
Yeah, yeah, everyone can see it.
Beautiful. So I want to play this little clip from this interview here from Dr. Dave Alred. Should I basically cite Dave Alred's work to basically tell you who this guy is? Because this man is quite frankly a genius. Um, but in terms of who he's worked for, is he's been all over the shop. Um, he's most notable for his relationship with the uh, England rugby player Johnny Wilkinson, who led England to win the 2003 World Cup. The World Cup. He also worked with Luke Donald, English golfer who won the 2020 2011 PGA Open. No, Open Championships. That's it. 2011 Open Championships. He's worked with Sexton, former number 10 Ireland kicker. Absolutely one of the greatest rugby players Ireland has ever seen. Probably the greatest rugby player Ireland's ever seen. Um, British judo, uh, British cricket, Man City, Watford, Sunderland, blah blah blah. He's been everywhere. But he's just. But there's a reason why he's everywhere. He's just damn good at what he does. So this is the little interview clip I want to show you. Let me know if you can hear it.
Definitely.
What 1 to 2 habits do some of the top performers you have worked with all
All good?
If no, I don't hear it.
God damn it. Boomerisms. God bloody. God
Really
damn
bit
it.
of behavior here.
Share.
I swear to God. How do I?
You want me to try it?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Sorry, check if you have the sound on Discord, like for your stream.
Well, like,
No,
I've got it on. His sound should be on. I can't see why it wouldn't be.
there's
It's funny you
a
should.
setting in Discord to like turn it off your stream audio.
Yeah, I mean, just send me the link and I'll get it up here if that's a problem.
Yeah, I'm too much of a boomer to like do things on the fly. Oh, there's always something that goes wrong, eh?
Alright.
Stupid technology.
That's typical. Okay. Let's see. Let me know if you can hear this, Maxi.
Mm-hmm.
What 1 to 2 habits do some of the top
Quiet.
performers
Just
you
turn
have
it up,
worked with?
please.
Okay.
With
Definitely.
interference.
Turn it
and
up
actually the
again.
pressure
Just put it on full blast.
Full blast, right? I can't hear this, but I'm sure you can hear it.
practice.
Yeah.
So is there should be a clear difference between interference practice and actually the pressure practice.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Definitely.
What 1 to 2 habits do some of the top performers you have worked with all share?
It's funny you should ask this because I'm now trying to sketch out, if you like, the DNA of somebody, and it's not something that you're born with, but I really do think it's an attitude. And it's a combination which I know sounds almost diametrically opposed to each other, and that is humility and toughness.
Okay.
And those two don't necessarily go together. You get people that are humble, but not very strong. So you have to work on that area. And then you get people that are very strong willed, but they sometimes veer towards arrogance. And therefore, they're not willing to learn and not do anything different. So to find that combination, it to me is the area, and I remind the players that I work with that I actually think, I really do believe, is humility. I don't know all the answers, and I can still improve no matter how good I am now, is the attitude. And the toughness is that when things get difficult, I still keep going. So if you get those two together, you've actually got a pretty potent combination there for somebody to do something quite special.
Fantastic. And sort of the habit would be sort of the attitude to learning and growing.
Yeah, absolutely, and a much more open mindset, and when something is different and something is presented, it's a wow, Cole, this is going to be great. It's the starting point, not why are we doing this?
Yeah,
That's enough, please.
There was one of my first ever episodes was a gentleman called Gary Smith. He teaches the short game.
Oh,
Right.
He taught
Froggy?
Chris Wood, Danny Willett, all of these boys. He's always based in Gloucestershire.
I think Frog is. There we
I
go.
can't hear a word. Sorry over that. Like, I have a full blast. I had like take my headphones off.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, it's
Okay.
Yeah, so I apologize for that. It was just very quiet. I had to even turn it up on OBS just to get like some volume as well on my end. But essentially, at least this is more for Froggy's case. Basically, Alred said that the DNA for any top performer that he's worked with is humility and toughness. So, if we were to put in our Smash Bible humility and toughness, how do we practice these two qualities? I was going to do this as an open forum, but I'm also looking at the time and be like, I have rambled for 27 minutes.
Oh, well, go on. I think it's fine. I think you just go on however long you need to. I'm sure people wouldn't be opposed to that.
So, if anyone has any ideas of how do we practice these two qualities, just just go for it.
Could I say one?
By all means.
I think a good thing for toughness, if you're playing someone, if you've developed a game plan or something you want to change in your game plan and you're playing someone a lot better than you, I think a good thing of toughness is when that person finds holes in what you're doing differently, being resistant to like an emotional upset of, oh, this is terrible then. My ideas were bad, the improvement is bad, and I need to completely change what I'm doing. It's sort of just like an acceptance of like new flaws and not being like demotivated by them, if that makes sense.
I guess that also that I feel like that would be one for humility as well. Because when you think about humility, it's just accepting that you don't know all the answers. Um, I think I would actually put that in humility if you don't mind. That's a good one
Yeah,
for it.
that's fine. That's fine.
So I think out of these two, toughness is going to be the easy one to add in. Humility, I feel, is going to be a little trickier to fill out.
If I get this right, so toughness would essentially be like the will to continue, or like the will to, you know, go through with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what toughness is getting at? Well, like an easy one would be like forcing yourself to watch your own VODs. Like it just is no brainer. Like if you can't watch your own VODs, something's wrong.
I think that also works for both. But yes, watching your own VODs. Um,
I think they go hand in hand, honestly. These two, if you think about it, like what they're just kind of two sides of the same coin.
yes and no, because I think when Alred was talking in his in that interview, he's talking about he comes across one or the other typically. Either someone is very humble but kind of lacks the backbone required to uh, see true success, at least at that moment of time, or they are really strong to the point of arrogance. So it's just a matter of trying to find ways of ensuring that we have ways to practice one or both. You know.
Mm-hmm. I think like another obvious toughness one would just be practicing techniques and stuff, like whatever it pertains to your character, practicing tech skill, practicing combos, anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
and actually committing yourself to it rather than just like spend like a minute on it. You spend like 15 at least, in something that you're not good at, and ironing things out, I suppose. That would be like a very obvious one, like I don't know, up for up air for Foxpuff, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And I would say if I were to add to practicing tech skill, I would say, I would probably say, uh, be trying to put yourself, uh, practicing tech skill, add consequence, add consequence to practice. I have one for humility. But if anyone wants to have at least to add to Convey's point, anyone else have any ideas how to answer one of these 2 points?
Jesus, lads, it's not a fucking classroom.
Fair enough. I was gonna add.
Jules is saying no man. It's fine.
Jules is don't making it. All right.
Yeah.
I see.
Also, I'm still doing this myself. It's never your character's fault. Most of the time, you can just work on it. It's mainly just you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't blame your character on shit that you do. I used to let myself, but like, I don't know.
Accepting,
You gotta work with your character, not blame all the time. Like.
accepting. Uh, yeah, it's accepting I'm trying to find the right words. It's not accepting your own faults because that's too harsh, but accepting that success comes from changing of yourself. I think that'll probably be a good way to answer that.
I think I got one for, well, this is kind of the same thing as Jules was saying, but like the having the stamina to actually like see through improvement.
Yeah, I think I would add that into toughness, stamina to see through
Yeah.
improvement. So these are good qualities that we're having. If I were to add, there we go. Acceptance of flaws within your game plan and accepting your success, I think they both have a similar solution. I think one thing that would work very well is mindfulness. I think mindfulness, acceptance, commitment, sort of thing. You can hear there is like stuff called MAC, which is all about like a lot of meditation, but it's all about just I think it's like some sort of like a behavioral therapy sort of thing. I have one. I actually do have a course on that. In regard, and it was like specifically for esports, which is kind of funny. I had that years ago, so it's something I do need to actually get around to doing at some point. But I think that would be a good way. Looking into that would be a way to practice accepting flaws and accepting that the success comes from changing of yourself. Um, Anyone else have any ideas?
Jules is still typing in, and like Jules, if it's like you aren't able to talk, that's fine, but you can unmute if you need to say something.
I think he's on a train.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Another part of toughness would be the ability to handle yourself under pressure. Yep. Under pressure. You can write books on how to work under pressure, like the pressure principle by Dr. Dave Alred. But a good way of practicing under pressure is practicing in uncomfortable environments. If I were to add one.
Money match everyone you meet.
Yes, that actually is money matches are actually really good practice because we are adding pressure. We're also adding what do you call it? Oh, the word escapes me. Especially
Consequence.
Consequence. Yes, we're adding consequence because if you lose, you become poor, and being poor kind of sucks. But the thing is,
No
is that
thanks.
yeah, it's very good practice. You want to be putting yourself in as much pressure in practice as you can. If you don't mind me going with an anecdote real quickly, Al Red talks about it in his book. He talked about how him and the England rugby team went to the Royal Marines in 1998. It was in preparation for the World Cup the year after, but basically the entire lesson of that day with the Royal Marines was in dislocation, being able to perform in an environment where things basically happen without any warning, and being ready to perform in unpredictable situations. So, and to be honest, how can you get more practice and being uncomfortable than having a day with the Marines, you know? But Cranyon being too perfect pines. You're too young for that. You're too young. But you see what I'm. But I guess I've been holding usings all back from melee for long enough. So, but you see what I mean about like we're being very specific about what we're trying to achieve, and then we're looking in ways how to actually practice these qualities. And this is what I want users to go. I want users to do this exercise on your own. I want you to make your own personalized Smash Bible and just go through this sort of detail. And then if you can do that, then to be honest, you I can trust you to be really active with your own thinking of how to improve in melee.
Um, would it be a good idea to show them Alex's examples of the Smash Bible? I think
Yeah,
they're a bit more like gameplay specific as well.
yeah, he actually has in the article he actually has a link to his own version. So um good I think you can you see that now?
That looks good to me.
Yeah, like keeps good game habits, good health habits. And then how do you do that? Well, you eat well, you sleep well, keep hydrated. Mental habits, enjoys himself, proactive, helpful and kind to the people around him, um, sort of thing, and just keeps it all very brief, very short and snappy, and just be like how, and then eliminate like a good execution, minimizes dead frames between actions. For example, accurate spacing, good mechanical spacing, getting the right hitbox that he wants to at that moment of time, etc., etc. So that's kind of like the idea of it. But it's good to point out that yeah, this whole first part is all about stuff outside the game itself, and then the next couple of things are to do with melee. So I think, like I said at the very start, a lot of work with melee comes from stuff outside of the game. Hence why we want to really focus on being active with our learning. So yeah, that kind of sums up what I really wanted to say today. I'm sorry if I'm like not the most concise speaker imaginable, but if this was helpful in any way, I would, uh, or you want to see more of this, that'll be really cool. I think if I were to do the second one, it would be I want to fill Smash Bibles. Well, I'm not gonna be like chasing up anyone to do their own. I'm not gonna be like investigating who's done the homework or not. But if you do it, then it's I can. It's like I have no doubt in my mind you're gonna actually take improvement seriously. Normal Bible length, hard to
I
say.
mean, if you just look at what like the example is here, like that gives you a good idea of what kind of uh stuff you need to be writing and how long you might want to make it. Like it just depends how much like topics you want to focus on, and there's also different ones here for like different MUs as well at the bottom. So
Mm-hmm.
like for like but this is more of like a general. It's just there. It's more of like a general Smash Bible you're working with here, like how to do good practice, just how to treat yourself at a tournament, good execution, how to focus in the game, tournament pressure, what combos you want to hit, how you want to get them, all that sort of stuff. Like it all branches out. Is the idea? Like you think of one thing and then you think of how you're gonna get that thing, and that means you have to think of different things, and then those things branch out. How you get to them? It all like comes together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the whole idea of it is I want you to be thinking. I want you to make this as personal, like as personalized as you can. Try not to like. Try not to look. Sorry, I dropped the pen lid. Try and make it something inherently for yourself. You can take a couple of inspirations with Alex's for sure, but the goal is that you're doing this for your own, for what you think for yourself. Because, like I said, the whole idea is we want you to be thinking. We want you to be actively thinking about what makes and what leads to improvement for yourself. Bottom left shell shocked. I probably might have. Oh, must be one of the puffs. But yes, that kind of covers it. Like I said, if the lecture was useful, I would like to do one on analysis and the different ways to do analysis. Because that is such a crucial skill to learn. Um, but we'll get there when we get there. Sure. I hope this was I hope this was quite useful and enjoyable.